Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Edge 2016, The Power of the Individual.
I'd like to introduce Leanne Kemp, the CEO of a company that provides provenance for diamonds, and she could talk about why we need blockchain security.
You're the best, Donna. Give us a hug. Wow. She's a total rock star. I'm going to start with a question. What's in the value of a word? When it comes to the word provenance, it's everything. It means the history of something. Where did it come from? Where did it go? Who owns it? And where is it now? It's the life story of an item. And in the world of luxury goods, provenance matters. Because you cannot separate the value of an item from its origin and its history. It relates to diamonds, to watches, to art, and to jewellery. But there's a problem. The world's provenance is locked in paper. I get a receipt from the store saying I put it in a drawer, and time takes a hold. And if you're anything like me, you forget where you put that damn bit of paper. Now, when provenance is lost, another word emerges, and that word, risk. Risk is the foundation of our biggest black markets, and the first is theft. In the heart of Hatton Garden, London's diamond district, £200 million of jewellery, diamonds, watches and cash was stolen, and they did it because they know crime pays when provenance is broken. And then there's fraud. What's stopping me from calling my insurance company something's been lost or stolen, only it hasn't been? I keep it and I pass it on to the next person in 6 months' time. And then there's cyber. A real problem that's washing the shores of every one of our corporations on a daily basis. These problems are real, they're quantifiable, and they cost insurers $50 billion annually. But sadly, and more importantly, they cost every single one of us in this room today on an increased cost of insurance. So we did something about it. We created Everledger. It's a digital global ledger that tracks and protects items of value. And we started with diamonds. Let me show you what we did. First, we created relationships with the major certificate houses around the globe. America, India, Israel, Antwerp, where they grade and certify each of the diamonds. We created a digital thumbprint of that diamond, capturing 40 metadata points, as well as the 4 Cs and the laser inscription that is inscribed on the girdle of the stone. We take all of that information and we write it into the blockchain. We now know where diamonds are being sold and resold online in marketplaces such as Amazon and eBay, work with insurance company on fraudulent claims, with Interpol and Europol as diamonds cross borders and enter into black markets, and with banks to help them in financing the middle part of the pipeline more efficiently. But more importantly, to create a digital vault so you can store all of your valuables inside of the blockchain. We began in London last year. So we're 18 months old. And since that time, we created and onboarded 980,000 diamonds into Everledger. Bank-grade security on our API, and we've scaled for high-volume transactions. And most excitingly, we have smart contracts in place that enable us to track the provenance, the custody and ownership of those stones as they pass through the pipeline. Let me tell you a little bit about the diamond industry. It's 130 years in the making. Been granting permission and forgiveness since 1888. And at the centre of that industry is another word. And that word is mazel. Mazel is the epitome of trust. It is a word that was created as a gentleman's handshake of trade when stones are traded across the table. The word was created as a part of the ancient Hebrew language, which means with fortune and blessing. and what a fortune indeed. The diamond industry itself boasts some pretty impressive numbers. Rough diamonds come out of the ground at $15 billion on an annualized basis, and in one iterative manufacturing step, it goes from a rough cut diamond, it gets cut and polished into a beautiful stone. It's $47 billion. And by the time it hits the retail network, not set in a diamond ring, it's $72 billion. That's 500% value it's stacked across the pipeline. Now, the Kimberley Process. In the year 2000, the United Nations came together and created a landmark decision. And that was to put a platform in place to reduce the atrocities related to conflict diamonds. It has been successful. 80 countries came together, 54 members, which resulted in 99.8% of all rough production diamonds coming together on this process. Let's show you what we built on Linux One. In 2003, they created a 3-step validation process that enabled the certification of those systems to be driven by government officials and officers. Just like the Benjamin Franklin face that's on the $100 bill, each of these government officers have their printing press assigned. We digitally store those master certificates into the blockchain, enabling each of the countries to protect their intellectual property. Each of the officers then record not only the trade documentation of those diamonds, but also the airway bills that are associated with transport. As those documents, just like Donna showed you on the IBM platform for global finance, we trace it through its workflow process from country of export to country of import. And all of this on a highly secured fabric. So I guess, thank you, IBM. I cannot underestimate the power of what now sits as a tool set for me. And beyond just the thought of me as an individual to innovate and create, the central beating heart of what's been delivered into our hands as a part of the open source community with Hyperledger will truly enable us to put forward a tectonic plate shift in industry. And what it's enabled us to do is give our industry the missing tools: notarization and timestamping, ownership and transfer title, the chain of possession, are systems of warranties that, more importantly, is all about ensuring we have ethical trade. And I start questioning myself, what's happening in other markets? What's going on in ivory? Why are we killing our rhinoceroses? Why are we killing our elephants? What can be done about this? This platform enables us to do something about it. The diamond industry led the charge, and it was successful. And yet again, when we start to bring together the essence of the diamond industry and technology scruffs like us, we know we can start making a difference. Now, as we look forward to where we can finally start to take the extended certification process, we can also begin to address some of the issues in our existing marketplace. There are 2 brave Western banks left in the diamond industry. One is ABN AMRO, and the other is Barclays. We are set for a $3 billion financial shortfall in terms of supply chain finance, and more recently, 8 weeks ago, we had an announcement from Standard pulling out of our industry, giving us another $2 billion shortfall. That problem exists, but we see it as a $20 billion opportunity that can enable transactional trust, that can bring liquidity back to our market, that can give consumer confidence when everyone decides to buy a diamond to celebrate their most important life adventures. And looking forward, and maybe this is a little blue sky, but diamonds is the one commodity that's yet to have true financial products wrapped around it. It doesn't have a futures market yet, and it doesn't have ETFs yet. Yet the underlying commodity outperforms pricing of gold, platinum, and palladium. And so one's got a question: is it liquidity or transparency? And that might be a chicken and egg answer, but I'm betting it's transparency. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Donna and Leanne, for showing us how you're using blockchain technology to drive new capabilities in the industries that you're passionate about. But really what I want to thank you for is sharing your passion. Donna and Leanne, I mentioned earlier how it's our passions that make us powerful in order to innovate, and you clearly demonstrated that for us, as well as how we can take this blockchain technology and apply it to a variety of industries. Leanne, it's fantastic to see a digital vault built with IBM's blockchain high security network. And It's absolutely clear that this is just the tip of the iceberg of what you and Everledger will deliver to the world across a variety of industries.